Well, I think we're ready to get started for the deep dive this morning. So welcome to everybody who's joining. Always so good to start the Monday morning, the week this way on the deep dive, where we talk about the most important topics on real estate. So you can be the most educated agent in your area on these topics. You know, for the last several weeks, we've been talking about interest rates, a rise in interest rate, and certainly probably no bigger story in real estate right now than the rise in interest rates. And this week, if you saw the message, we're going to talk about inventory. Do really an update on inventory across the country and give you all the information you need to know about that. So I'm going to share my screen here. I talked about, we're going to look at some year over year and month over month numbers. So let's start right here. Year over year February. In a minute, I'm going to go to year over year March. So let's start here, year over year February. We're down about 25% nationally. If you look at the state that you're in right now, you can see how much inventory is down, anywhere from these brown colors, 30 to 45% down. The blues get into different numbers there, you'll see, but a lot of that brownish color there in February. Let's take a look at March. Okay, we start to see a little bit of change, not down as much year over year in March. What does that mean? Starting to see some inventory coming back into the market. Let's take a look now at the month over month look, starting with February. This is month over month. February, January is compared to February, down about 8%. So we're seeing those active listings selling being down a little bit further. When we go to March, we see that we're not down as much. Okay, so that's certainly a sign to seeing more inventory coming back into the market. Now, I want to pause here for a second. No doubt across the country, we need more inventory. We need more inventory on the lower end, but across the real estate market, we need more inventory. It's probably not a market that's out there right now that says, we have plenty of inventory. If there is, drop that certainly in the comments. Let us know about that, but we need more inventory across the country. Why is this so important right now? It's important for this reason. The lack of inventory across the country is keeping upward pressure on prices, even with the rise in real estate. And, if we look at the latest numbers, we've got this right here from CoreLogic, wrapping up February, the latest number on appreciation, 20% appreciation year over year. I always use this graphic. I've brought it to you over the last several weeks. In the last month, we saw 18% appreciation as we head into the fall. As we wrapped up the year, we started to see price appreciation ratchet up. So always remember, price will be defined by supply and demand. If you want to know if price is peaked in your area, look at demand, look at supply. That's going to give you an indicator where that price is going. And what do you see coming on market in your area? Do you see more inventory coming on market that's going to sort of, start to moderate the appreciation? That will allow you to give expert advice to the clients you're serving. So let's continue on this conversation. Let's talk about new listings coming to market. New listings have increased in this country for the third month in a row. Still need more listings, but if you go back to December, January, February, March, we saw new listings coming to market increasing. Now, I want to give you a couple of interesting looks at new listings. The first one is, where does this compare to last year? And here you see it right here. This is new listings compared this year. The blue is this year, the green is last year. So in January, February, and March, we're seeing more listings come to market than what we saw the same time last year. If you were following the deep dive into the fall and into the end of last year, what did we say? There are a lot of pent-up demand. A lot of people that made a decision not to list their home during the pandemic for a lot of reasons, during the last 10 years following the housing crash for a lot of reasons. And we're seeing new listings come to market at a faster pace than we saw last year. And what does that mean? That's good news for those looking for a home. Still need more, but we're starting to see some of that come back. Now I'm going to give you another look that you'll be familiar with if you've been following the deep dive. And this is new monthly listing counts as compared historically. Now, the normal years, I'm going to call it in real estate, 2017, 2018, 2019, we have to look at, because 2020, 2021 are certainly were abnormal years in the pandemic and what we saw there. This is where we're at right now. I've drawn a kind of a red circle around where we wrapped March up. And if you'll notice, we broke ahead of where we were, at this time during right at the start of the pandemic, well ahead in the trend from where we were this time last year. And I just mentioned that with that bar graph, and sort of getting up almost up to where we were in those normal years, I'm going to call it, in 17, 18, and 19, in new listings coming to market. What we want to see is we want to see that line start to get up there and even surpass. I'd love to see it surpass where we were in 17, 18, and 19 in new listing counts coming to market. So let's sort of turn our attention to active listings. That's the update on new listings. Active listings here, for the first time in 6 months, we saw active listings increase. Okay, so if you go back in this graphic here, this is a look at active listing counts going all the way back to January of last year. I dipped down, in April and in May, coming back up over the summer and fall and dropping back down. March, the first month, we're seeing an uptick in active listings in this country. Now let's sort of shift our look, and I know I'm giving you a lot of information today. You can go back and watch these and sort of break it down. I'm going to take the prior look that we had, but this time do it for active listings like this right here. So we look at the normal years, we look at the orange bar there of 2020 where everything was anything but normal, and then the green bar of 2021, we're right here. Still well below the active listing count in this country, all across the country. And I'd be interested in the comments. Are you seeing more active listings come to market where you're at? That would be an interesting question that I'd love to hear from you. Are you not seeing that? Are you seeing that? Let us know in the comments there. But no doubt we want to see inventory start to accumulate so that people, the frenzy in the market, people can find homes to buy. Now I'm going to kind of wrap up with one other slide. It's kind of a variation of what we've used in the past, and it's this. In March, the latest look, this is active listings each month as well as new listings coming to market. In March, new listings were greater than the active listings. Let me break this down to you. We used to have another look at this that was, sort of a stacked bar chart, but go back to August of last year, active listings, new listings coming to market, and you see they sort of tail off towards January and start to come back up in February and March. Well, in March, we saw more new listings than active listings. The direct nod to this, that as soon as something comes to market, it sells just like that. This graphic here probably does a better example of showing that than anything we've used. And I would use it, as you're sitting down with clients, talking to them about those that are looking to buy, those that have questions about this market, or those that are just, sort of frustrated, showing them this is the reality, obviously showing them, hey, we're going to stay in the fight. And here's how I'm going to help you buy a home. But no doubt we need more inventory across the country. We're seeing that inventory come to market. I've given you that. Now your job is to take this information, take it out into the market, record videos, use KCM blogs, use all the information we produce to be the knowledge broker for the clients you serve. I'll wrap up with this before I ask Jess if there are any questions here. The Spring Sellers Pack. If you didn't grab that, it's available still this week. We talked about it last week. If you're talking to those that are thinking about selling their home, no better resource than that. If you're a KCM member, we're going to drop the link in the comments there where you can go in and grab all this. If you're not a KCM member, you just want to check things out, you can go grab the Spring Seller's Guide, the perfect listing presentation, and the 5 graphics you need to share this spring, and go check things out. And certainly I hope you'll become a KCM member, but this will give you a chance to get all this information, be the knowledge broker for the clients you serve. So I'm going to pause for a second. Jess, any questions this morning?
Yes, it looks like we had a couple come through. The first one from Cameron, who said, so if the trend in new listing continues, how long will it take to get to 2017 level?
Let's go back to this. If the new trend in listing, if that continues, how long will we get to 2017? Well, if you see here, I'm going to bring my cursor over that. We're right here How long would that take? That's all about those that list right now. I can't tell you how long would it take to get back there, but if we continue on this trend, we could be there in April or May. I think it's all going to be about demand. It's going to be all about those that are thinking about listing that say now is the time for that. And I think it's going to be on us. How frequently, how often are we out there talking to people about this being, the best time to sell your home if you've been thinking about that. But I think there's a very real possibility we could hit that sometime going into the summer.
Great, thank you for that, Dave. And then Corey actually asked a great question. When does a new listing become an active listing, or what's the difference between them?
Great question there. When does a new listing become an active listing? So new listings are listings taken that month. Okay, so everything that we're going to call new is that month. And then the next month, we're kind of look at carryover and active listings. Where did we start the month? So great question there.
All right, awesome. And I just saw one more come through from Michael, who said, with prices staying high, do you think the increase in mortgage rates will put the brakes on our market?
So Michael asked, with the increase in mortgage rates, do I think that will put brakes on the market? I don't see experts saying that. I think there are a couple realities of that. I think the biggest word that I see used over and over and over by experts is that the rise in interest rates will moderate the market. Okay, not squelch demand, sort of turn it off, and that's maybe what a lot of people think, but probably will help to sort of squelch the frenzy in the market. But the word I would use is rising interest rates are likely to moderate the market, okay? Second thing about that, rising interest rates, what they do is they take people off the fence in two ways. Some go one way and they say, we're out. Some go the other way and say, we're getting in before rates go any higher. So that definitely seeing that effect. If you saw a couple of weeks ago, I used the slide, what happens to home price appreciation during rising interest rate environments? On average, going all the way back to the early 90s, about 8% appreciation in homes and prices in rising interest rate environments where rates have risen by more than 1%. You can go back and grab that slide or watch that deep dive. Why is that? Pushes people off the fence. It pushes more people in that say we want to buy now before rates go any higher. So great question there. Again, I'll wrap it up here on the spring sellers pack. If you haven't had a chance to grab that, go to trykcm.com/sellers. So grateful for everybody that joins the deep dive every Monday morning. We'll wrap up on that, and I'll see you back next Monday on the deep dive. Take care.